Halloween, and we've been talking on the show about scary things. What do you think the #1 most scary thing is for people to do?
Haunted houses.
No.
No.
That's for you and I. But
Public
everybody
speaking.
else says public speaking, that is their #1 fear. Well, our next guest had that fear himself, terrified to be a public speaker, but now he's actually helping people learn how to do it the right way. Peng Joon is here. You have a company called Smobble. What do you do with Smobble?
Well, we do trainings and workshops, and one of the things we do is teach people how to market better online. And one thing that's so crucial is the skill of communication. Being effective when it comes to communicating an idea to the masses, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through a webinar, whether it's offline in front of thousands of people. Speaking. And speaking is probably one of the skills that it's probably the highest sought after skill in entrepreneurship. When it comes to advancing, whether it's your personal life or your professional life, speaking to the masses, whether you're a leader, whether you're a CEO of an organization, the ability to do so is expected of you. And that's why I say it's probably the most important skill in business.
Peng, why are people so terrified to speak publicly?
As someone who was personally terrified myself, I know firsthand how it feels. And I know that it's not the speaking itself that's terrifying, it is the anticipation of it that is terrifying, right? It's kind of like skydiving. It's not, once you've taken the leap and you've jumped out of the plane,
you're having a ball.
It's right?
Yes.
That's correct. So speaking, it's the anticipation when it's the next day, when you've committed to a speaking gig and you know it's happening, that is when it becomes terrifying. So in other words, understand that when you're on stage, chances are you're going to be fine. It's the anticipation when you do not have enough practice that's going to be really scary.
Well, this is someone who went from being scared of it to now having 2 million entrepreneurs following him on Facebook, and has also shared a speaking stage with Tony Robbins, with Richard Branson.
Wow.
What tips do you have for our viewers? How do you get up there and do it the right way?
Well, #1, if you've never done it before, it is to fix your own internal conversation that happens in your mind. So what usually happens when a person has never done a speaking gig before is they begin with statements like, I am not good at public speaking, even though they've never done a public speaking gig their entire life. So when a person begins with a statement like, I am, will always find a reason to be right about that statement. So if it begins with I am not a good public speaker, then we'll always find a reason to be right about that belief, right? Whether we think we can or we can't, we're always right about it. So rather than saying, I am not good at something, begin with, I currently struggle with. And that's going to be a lot more empowering. So that's #1. #1 is fix your own internal conversation that happens in your mind.
And you say it's not about you, it's about your audience,
That's
isn't it?
correct. So most of the time, the fear also happens because we think about all of the worst case scenarios. Like, what if the audience finds, what if I slip on stage? What if I look stupid? What if I say something that's really embarrassing? So the next thing to do rather, it is about making it about the audience. Think about, what value do I want to serve for my audience? Why am I there? What is my intention? Because when you make it about your audience, that's when the fear goes away.
Well, and that leads us right into #2, which is to know who you're speaking to. Know your audience.
Right, so customize your message, make it about them. Because when you know your audience and you know what is the result you want to generate for them, and your focus on them, that's when the fear goes away.
You also say don't memorize.
That's correct. Well, memorize the structure and the context, but not the specific words. Because if you try to memorize the entire script, the 1-hour presentation, 90 minutes, that's when it's going to go horribly wrong.
It makes you nervous too.
Exactly, because it's going to be so overwhelming. But when you think about the 3 steps, the 5 tips, the big picture, the framework, you just need to get those things down. It becomes so much easier.
Do you have all these tips in your book? Where can I read these?
100%. Platform Closing, that's where the book is found, on Amazon or on the website itself.
Gosh, you're a great public speaker.
Comes with practice.
.com, and that is another tip that's in there too. Practice, practice, practice. Platform Closing, you can find, and we will link you on our website to Peng's information. I think it's good for everybody to write in every job position.
100%.
Thank you, Peng.